Hello and welcome to Justeventonline News at 9. I am Fatima Sediki for the news headlines. Tinubu targets 30 trillion naira revenue in 3 years. Federal government high zero malaria prevalence by 2025. Federal government mandates students to possess ICT skills before graduation. Kwara state government provides relief to rainstorm victims in Odofin, Igbana. Alleged campaign fund. Kwara PDP Youth leaders carpet Dan Iya says he enjoys zero confidence from the party's SWC. Health workers demand salary structure adjustment. Fuel smuggling persists in borders despite subsidy removal. Customs boards disclose. Drug hawkers are merchants of death, NAFDAC warns. Osun activate emergency response as diphtheria kills one. 2023's World Cup Qualifier. Super Eagles to know group opponent Wednesday. Now the news in details. The presidency plans to double the nation's revenue within 3 years. Zak Adedeji, special advisor on revenue to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who announced the 30 trillion naira target, said the target would be achieved through technology and data without raising taxes. According to him, non-tax revenue will be the driving force, adding that attention will be given to organized collection in line with the Constitution, which indicates that all collectible revenues shall be channeled into the Federation accounts. The federal government on Monday launched the malaria modeling program to achieve zero malaria prevalence in 2025. Speaking during the launch of the first cohort in Abuja, the national coordinator of the National Malaria Elimination Program, Dr. Perpetua, said the malaria modeling initiative involves the use of data in different contexts to make decisions on malaria program and elimination. She reiterated the determination of the federal government to end malaria by the year 2025 with data necessary for tracking and preventing the disease. The federal government, through Tertiary Education Trust Fund, has said it is determined to bridge the digital skill gap between industries and schools. This was as the Executive Secretary, Tech Fund, Soni Echono, said the government has drafted a policy to ensure that students in higher institutions acquire digital skills before graduation. Speaking in Abuja on Monday, he said that bridging the gap would help produce graduates that are globally competitive. The Kwara State government, through the Office of State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, has provided relief materials to victims of a recent rainstorm in Odofin, Igbana, Okero local government area of the state. The relief materials handed over to the president of the Odofin Igbana Descendants Union on Tuesday includes 150 bundles of roofing sheets, 22 packs of nails, 20 beds, 1 pack of mats, 3 bundles of Ankara and other items. The presentation was supervised by the Secretary of the Office of SEMA, Sadu Mashood Magaji, and the Chairman of Environmental Special Task Force, Honorable Abdurazak Jida. While presenting the relief materials to the representatives of the Odofin Igbana rainstorm victims, Honorable Abdurazak Jida expressed Governor Abdurrahman's concern over the incident. He explained that many places were affected by the natural disaster across the state, noting that some are being attended to while some relief are still in the pipeline, and assure other victims of the government's intervention. He therefore pleaded to the people of the state to be mindful of disasters that can be prevented and continue to support the government in fighting the cause. The SEMA Secretary, Mashood Magaji, while speaking with Justeventonline TV, said that the government is committed to providing relief to victims of natural disasters in the state. He urged the beneficiaries to make good use of the materials. The president of Odofin, Igbana Descendant Junior, Oni Adebayo Joseph, who received the relief materials on behalf of the victims, appreciated the state government for the prompt response to the plight of the victims. He also prayed for the success of Governor Abdurazak Abdurrahman.
The matters 20 in number. We want to appreciate our governor for giving us this privilege for the victim of the rainstorm, which occurred, was it not April this year. God will continue to bless our able governor. Well, the committee set up by the community, I think the affected people was 35 in number, and it will be distributed to them evenly.
The People's Democratic Party youth leaders in Kwara State have carpeted the party's state youth leader, Prince Aliru Dantosho Mahmood, popularly known as Dan Iya, over his outrageous claims and incessant verbal attacks on party leaders, especially against the former Senate President, Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki. This was as the youth leaders unanimously seek his immediate suspension from the party forthwith. In a statement released on Tuesday and signed by the PDP youth leaders drawn across the 16 local government areas, including the 3 senatorial districts. In a statement released on Tuesday and signed by the PDP youth leaders drawn across the 16 local government areas, including the 3 senatorial districts youth leaders in the Kwara chapter, it described Dan Iya as a marauder who is always found wanting due to his serial betrayal, fraudulent antics, and disloyalty to the party's dictates. The youth leaders across the 16 local government areas and 3 senatorial districts in Kwara State therefore disassociated themselves from any activities superintended by Prince Aliru and his ilks, and also demanded his immediate suspension from the party to restore sanity and allow for a comprehensive investigation of his unguarded conduct. The Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals has called on the federal government to implement the high-level body technical committee's reports on the adjustments of the consolidated health salary structure to avert a resumption of the recently suspended industrial action by joint health sector unions. The union said any adjustment to consolidate medical salary structure must always be carried out on CONHES in line with the collective bargaining agreement that established the 2 salary structures in the health sector in 2009. The acting Controller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, on Monday vowed a heavy clampdown on oil thieves, insisting that the nation cannot afford to let saboteurs take over the economy. Adeniyi, who said there were still cases of smuggling of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, at Nigeria's border stations, despite the removal of subsidy on the commodity, said the agency had adopted new border patrol strategies to close in on oil thieves. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has warned Nigerians against patronizing drug hawkers. The agency said most of the drugs sold by hawkers are counterfeits, substandard, and expired, warning that the sellers of the medicines are merchants of death. The Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, said this on Tuesday at the official flag-off of the agency's media sensitization workshop on the dangers of drug hawking and ripening of fruits with calcium carbides. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke on Monday ordered the immediate activation of the State Emergency Response Center to curb the further spread of diphtheria in the state. The order was a reaction to the renewed outbreak of diphtheria infections in some parts of the state, which has resulted in one death. The suspected diphtheria patient, aged 6 years, was said to have developed the signs and symptoms on the 25th of June 2023 and died of the infection on July 7th. The last on the news is sports. The stage is set for the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw build for Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire on Wednesday, July 12th. The three-time African champions, Super Eagles of Nigeria, are among the teams that will discover their opponents in the qualifiers for the Mondial. Jose Peseiro's side are among the top 9 seeds at the draw based on the latest FIFA rankings. We have come to the end of the news. Here's the recap of the story. Tinubu targets 30 trillion naira revenue in 3 years. Federal government eyes zero malaria prevalence by 2025. Federal government mandates students to possess ICT skills before graduation. Kwara state government provides relief to rainstorm victims in Odofin, Igbana. Alleged campaign fund, Kwara PDP Youth leaders Dan Iya says he enjoys zero confidence from the party's SWC. Health workers demand salary structure adjustment. Fuel smuggling persists in borders despite subsidy removal. Customs boss disclose. Drug hawkers are merchants of vets, NAVDAC ones. Osun activate emergency response as diphtheria kills one. 2026 World Cup Qualifier. Super Eagles to no group opponents Wednesday. Thank you for watching Justeventonline News. Choose well your words. They will go marching down the years in the lives you touch. For more news, visit www.justeventonline.com, and to read more updates, follow us on our social media platforms with a tap at Justeventonline. You can also send us an email on justeventonline@gmail.com. I am Fatima Siddiqui. Good night.